you don't give your business data to AI companies. If you're in business and you're trying to adopt AI, I believe that you're doing it for a pretty particular reason, which is to get an edge. You're trying to get a differentiation in your business versus your competitors. And AI is that technology that is supposedly going to give you that advantage and really help you drive better efficiency, better customer service, better productivity, and ultimately more value to customers. And I think there's a little bit of an issue with the way that we approach AI adoption when it comes to enterprise and business adoption of AI. So the first question is, what does it take to train AI? And, see, this is worse. 300 billion words. This is the amount of data that was captured and used to train ChatGPT. It's an amazing amount of words. Kind of asks the question, like, where do these words come from? Well, they're all over the internet, and they're sourced from many, many different places. And the output from that, the output from that is kind of, a fantastic service that keeps getting better, and we're using it, and we're hearing about it. I mean, ChatGPT is probably the main way that people are experiencing AI today. And, this has raised a lot of questions about the sort of ethical and copyright issues related to this. And in fact, if you're using apps, many of them are training AI behind the scenes. If you've ever used a CAPTCHA to prove you're a human, you're helping to train an AI. And all of these apps, can somebody fix this, by the way? Where's my projector person? All right, look over here. Don't pay attention to that. Look over here. All of these apps are training AI. It's not really that surprising, actually. We've kind of gotten used to it, right? The data exhaust of all of our activities are going into train AI. But is this limited to only consumer technology? I think this is really the question. It's like, we know it's happening in consumer stuff. The data is public. We probably shouldn't expect social media companies to treat our data as private, because we know that's how they make their money, right? You are the product. This is kind of an understood thing where we are today. The rate at which businesses are adopting AI, as I mentioned before, is kind of astonishing. So Microsoft and IDC just put out this report, and it's kind of astonishing. For every dollar a company's investing in AI, they're seeing $3.50 return on investment. That is kind of amazing. And if you look at some of the details of it, the speed of it, the value they're seeing, and the biggest blocker right now is the number of skilled workers, right? Which, to the point about career, right? Like, maybe this is the thing you should be thinking about, is how can I be part of that workforce that's helping to scale AI? Businesses are adopting AI at an astonishing pace, and it raises the question to me of what are their vendors doing with that data? And in fact, the lawsuits have been coming. Google, Zoom, Dropbox, Microsoft, GitHub, OpenAI are all in a position where they're being, hit with a lot of accusations, and we'll see how they play out. But there's a number of different situations happening where business data is being used to help train AI. And this isn't just happening, these are the big names in the headlines, but it's happening across the entire ecosystem. It's happening in startups, it's happening in open source, it's happening kind of everywhere, to be honest. And so if you're on the business side of this, you want to think about how you're going to protect yourself from that risk. The government's gotten involved as well. And Congress is saying that tech companies should actually pay you, compensate you for training data. I actually kind of like this idea. I think it's a pretty good way of looking at it. It's a good question. And then the Federal Trade Commission is enacting new policies for how AI companies have to manage the privacy of their customer data. And this to me is, I think, just the beginning. It's an area that's going to change, and I think it is important for us to understand the implications, especially as we're evaluating our vendors and our solutions that we're building internally. We need to know what the rules of the road are, which are all changing in real time as this is happening. And I think that, for me, that feels scary, and when we have that fear, it leads to inaction. And so when companies and decision makers don't know what's going to happen, we start to get fearful. And this is where I'm hoping that we can start to bring some clarity. This is the whole point of what you're going to hear about today, actually, is we're going to talk more about these kinds of issues, about how and why and when to adopt these things, the considerations. I wanted to give an example of something where public data can be used for public good. I think if you think about private data and public data, how do you connect it together? So wildfirewatch.org, I think, is a great example. We helped launch this site. What it does is it uses all the existing public cameras in Washington State, and we apply AI to it to detect wildfires. It's still in its early days, and we're continuously improving it. It still thinks that sunsets and headlights are fires. We got to fix that, but that continuous process can improve. And then if this gets to a certain point, it can be brought out to a broader audience and more cameras, more things. So people who are building businesses to make money off wildfires, to me, doesn't seem like the right thing. But doing it as something we can do collaboratively in the open is. And I just wanted to draw that contrast between the work that people are doing to collect data for the purposes of building a company and monetize the model and sell it to your competitors versus things that can be done in the open for good. So anyway, to summarize, here's what I think are the 4 things to pay attention to. And I linked to an article that goes into more detail. Okay, the 4 things. Transparency. You should know how the data is being used, and your vendors should tell you, be very clear about it. Second is control. You should be able to put limitations and decide which of your private data, and by private data I mean all of your text and emails and videos and images, all the stuff that you have inside of your business. You'd be able to control that through confidentiality, all the privacy, both from a contractual perspective as well as data privacy controls and security technology should be in place. And compensation. If you're going to allow your data to be used, you might decide that there's a fair way to do it, and it might involve a discount or some other compensation for the use of that data. It doesn't have to be black and white where you say, look, no data. But if these rules are in place, then at least we have some way of understanding the implications and making a business decision, a rational business decision that will allow you to build and adopt AI while also keeping it safe. So in conclusion, don't give your business data to AI companies. Thank you.